try to blow my mind. I don't care.
All right, peace, black families. Sac passe. Welcome to another episode of After the Revolution. And today we'll be discussing the Battle of New Orleans. Now, I already know some people like Brother Hassan, you always coming up with some of these ridiculous stories. What does the Battle of New Orleans have to do with Haitian history? Well, I'll tell you. The Battle of New Orleans took place January 8th through January 26, 1815. And it was led by none other than Andrew Stinkin' Jackson. Yes, the guy that Jacksonville, Florida is named after. Yes, he led the battle. And so he got a bunch of militiamen together to fight against Great Britain. Now, one of the things they always do in history is that they like to expunge the identity of the black people who fought with Andrew Jackson in New Orleans. Those people happen to be Haitian. But when they give the history, this is how they tell the story.
On the plains of Chalmette, a makeshift army of regular infantry, free men of color, free men of color,
Free men of color.
So, whenever you hear that term, free men of color or Creole men, they're talking about Haitian people, okay? So anyway, the Battle of New Orleans was fought about 5 miles outside of the city limits of New Orleans. Now, this was a very important battle because not only did Haitian people help the United States, which was 13 colonies at the time, gain the Louisiana Territory, we also helped them keep the Louisiana Territory because Great Britain wanted to take that part of the United States from them. Because remember, at that time, Great Britain was also fighting a war with the United States in Canada and in the Caribbean. And so it was Haitians that came here to America in December of 1814 to help them fight. And a lot of times, again, like I said, you would see these old-fashioned movies and they would have like one black person in the movie, right? When we know that there were like 2 or 3 battalions, right? Meaning troops of Haitians that came here and fought.
We're close to about 2 yards.
I'll count 40 seconds, Major.
Commence firing!
Now, again, being the fact that this took place in 1815, slavery in the United States was in full effect because slavery did not end until 1863 when they signed the Emancipation Proclamation. And it's very, very strange because it's like, on one hand, you have slaves in the South and you mistreat them and, you enslave them, and then you're asking for the help of another African person. It's really, really weird the way this European thinks. But anyway, nevertheless, also what's funny about this story is that when they tell these stories, they always say that Great Britain is the greatest army in the world at this time period, right?
a makeshift army of regular infantry, free men of color, Native Americans, privateers, farmers, and shop owners raised their arms to face the mightiest army on earth.
Mightiest army on earth. Mightiest army on earth.
But one might have to ask yourself, if Great Britain has the greatest army in the world, but they were beaten by Haitian slaves, wouldn't that make Haitian slaves the greatest army in the world? I mean, I'm just saying, because we do know from historical record that Jean-Jacques Dessalines and Toussaint L'Ouverture defeated Britain, France, and Spain. So why do they always say that Britain has the greatest army in the world when they were defeated by Haitians? Something to think about, right? And so there are a lot of things that are expunged in the history, but we do know that Haitian soldiers came to the United States 2 battalions deep That means we came super deep to fight.
Jackson's infantry regiments were joined by volunteers from Tennessee and Kentucky, Choctaw Indians, militias from Louisiana and Mississippi, a rifle company made up of local businessmen, and 2 battalions of free men of color, and 2 battalions of free men of color,
and 2 battalions of free men of color.
When a local Army paymaster objected to his arming and equipping 2 battalions of black men, he told the gentleman, you know, basically, don't worry about what color the troops are. I need every man I can get.
A teenage slave named Jordan Noble was also on the battlefield, playing a drum, beating a cadence for the American defenders.
But he was actually owned at the time of the Battle of New Orleans by a man named Jean Noble. Jean Noble. And Mr. Noble joined the 7th Regiment and took Jordan along with him.
See, we always hear about what we did in Savannah, Georgia, when we came to help America get their independence, right? The Battle of Savannah, the Siege of Savannah, where you had Henry Christophe, who was later on the king, which this is his flag right here, the king of Haiti. He came here and fought, but you never hear about the battles that we had for the United States, which we were always on the wrong side of history with doing that. But that's another video for another time. But you never hear how much Haiti has helped the United States, even when the United States was simply 13 colonies, man. I mean, Haitian blood is stained in the soil of America, because the day that America decided to fight for their freedom, Haiti was right there by her side fighting. And so we must always remember that. Our blood is also in the soil of this land. Our blood is shared with our African American brothers in this landmass here in the United States of America. And we must remember that we were there for the American Revolution. We were there for the Battle of Savannah, there for the New Orleans battle. And I'm sure as I read, I'm going to find more information that proves we were there anywhere else you think about, right? You know, they have a saying, they say Haitians are like ravets, Haitians are like roaches, you know, because we pop up everywhere in history. You know, you can't talk about history after 1804 and not talk about, I mean, Haitians, because we're just always just popping up like, whoop, here you go, I'm here, you know. So, well, anyway, I hope that you enjoyed this video. Until next time, you know, subscribe, like, comment. Let me know, you know, if you want to hear some historical stories. Let me know how I can make this channel a little better for y'all, because everybody's way of telling history is different. But I just want this to be an interactive channel. I want people to enjoy the history that I bring to this channel. So, you know, be sure to comment, chime in, let me know, hey, what was taking place in Haiti at this time? You know, can you give me some information on this? And I'll be, you know, sure to do a video on it, because I just be liking to do videos on this type of stuff, you know? But until next time, family, think black, stay black, love black, promote black, just be about black, and uap con George, and you know what it's gonna be. We out.
Without his victory here, Andrew Jackson certainly never would have become president. Also, you know, if the British had taken Louisiana, American westward expansion would have been severely hampered. Canada would be the greatest country on earth if the British had won the Battle of New Orleans. But it meant something really significant for the people of New Orleans in particular, because all these people that Andrew Jackson gathered together to fight his battle for him came from all walks of life. In many ways, they were like a microcosm of the different sorts of people who were living in New Orleans at that time. You know, he had American militia from Kentucky and Tennessee. He had French Creoles, Spanish Creoles, regiments of free people of color, actually staffed by black officers. Now, that was really unusual. The 54th Massachusetts, the first black regiment to fight in the American Civil War, did so under white officers. And this was 50 years later, you know, in New England. And they still had to serve under Matthew Broderick. So